guilty of crime.
Hello, everybody. What's up? I'm Jay with Guilty of Crime, and we're back. Happy Friday, everybody. Good to see you. Now, you guys know every stream I say hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and get a membership if you can. I'm not going to say that to chat today. However, if you're watching this episode and you can't chat with us, it's because we're on members only chat. So if you do me a favor and hit that like button, get us in the algorithm. If you have the means to donate to Guilty of Crime, which is me and the channel, or you want to get yourself a membership, you can get it right now. And the reason I tell you that is because we are going to do a Foxy Box giveaway, and the Foxy Box giveaway is also going to donate $25 to the Michaela Rains Fund at Save a Fox. All right. We want to help Michaela's husband keep that Save a Fox going. We don't want to see this happen to other people, obviously. And we want to try to keep it, keep the bullying and the harassing and that kind of stuff so that it doesn't happen to somebody else soon. All right. So we don't want that to happen to anyone, including me, the mods, or anyone else. So thank you. Today, you guys, I was going to change the topic at the last moment, but I'll save it for Monday. It's going to be a Stephen Stearns topic, and I'm going to want everybody involved in it, as many as I can. So today, only the Guilty of Crime crew members can chat, but everybody could be in here. Everybody could not win the box. Only the members only can win. Thank you so much, Michelle, for supporting the channel and becoming a member. And shout out to Hannah UK. This is going to be a controversial stream, you guys. And I have a lot to say. I have so much to say. In fact, let me put this up right now because we need justice for Austin Metcalf. This is a controversial topic. Number one, the controversy is leaking over into the platforms because of the race that we have going on. Now, you guys know that my race is not going to affect what I think about with with Austin Metcalf or Karmelo Anthony. That doesn't have anything to do with me. And I fight for the victims, not based on sexuality, sexual preference, or color. That doesn't matter to me. But social media is arguing over that. And I have some big thoughts on this case, guys. I feel terrible that Austin Metcalf's name is being drowned out in this, according to what I'm seeing. I keep saying that. Justice for Austin Metcalf. Austin's name is getting drowned out in the social media. And as far as I'm concerned, it's like a public relation campaign for Karmelo Anthony. Now, we don't want that to happen. I feel like this is going to be another Karen Reed situation. And thank you so much, PH Deb, for being a member for 10 months. I love you. And thank you for supporting the channel. Now, I want you guys I'm going to talk about this, Shelly. I got to tell you, Karmelo's family did a GoFundMe. It got to six figures. It got to $160,000, and GoFundMe made them drop the campaign because they do not let people get raise campaigns for something that is a felony. All right. Now, Karmelo Anthony was indicted on first-degree murder just 2 days ago. We're going to go over that. I'm also going to show you, and it's kind of upsetting that Karmelo Anthony started a give, go, send. All right. So people are supporting him. I'm going to tell you right now, this is like a Karen Reed case where you're going to have people on one side drowning out Austin Metcalf. I can tell you right freaking now because I had to look really hard to find out who Karmelo Anthony took the life of. Okay, so Austin Metcalf is the victim in this case, but yet Karmelo Anthony and the Anthony family are drowning out Austin's name. And I'm going to show you that today in an exclusive interview that if you're not a member on Court TV, you cannot watch it. It's a members first, and the family doesn't even say his name. All right. And then they're victim blaming. You're right, Wyatt. They're victim blaming in one of the interviews that they do. They start shifting the focus to Karmelo, and the family doesn't even say the name. They just say the Metcalf boy. They completely leave Austin's name out, and then the defense drowns out the prosecution and the victim, Austin. And that's why we're here today, guys. I do absolutely believe, nope, Mama Sage, it was $160,000, but there's a new one. So if you guys let me get to this, I will answer your questions. I promise, my lovely members only. I know you guys have a lot of questions, but I just need to present the case quickly. I promise I will address the GoFundMe. I promise I'll address the give, go, send. All right. The GoFundMe was shut down and the give, go, send was put up. But the reason I don't want to get into that just yet, guys, is because again, we're drowning out Austin's name and we're just saying Karmelo, 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 Karmelo. Okay, because it's hard to even find Austin's name because Karmelo, Karmelo, Karmelo PR campaign is drowning out the victim. Okay, so there is a give, go, send, which is like a GoFundMe. I used that when my roof was down and I got like $1,300. Now, if you take a look at this, his GoFundMe got pulled down, but look at his give, go, send. Their goal, guys, is $1,396,725, and he's raised $540,175. That is on top of the $160,000 that he already collected on GoFundMe. Okay, so I just don't want to drown out this guy that doesn't get enough. And you're going to see what I'm talking about. There's a lot of racism happening over this case, and that has nothing to do with how I feel about it. So welcome, members. If you guys can do me a favor, you guys do support my channel. Everybody in green that's in chat right now supports my channel every single day. So if you have the means to super chat, super sticker, Venmo, PayPal, or Cash App, that'd be great. If you don't, that's okay too. I know you guys are here supporting my channel already. Now that we're not covering the Madeline Soto case as much, then it's very helpful. So thank you. I put that down below in case you need it. Let me tell you about this, and I promise I'm going to get into all the controversy. I'm going to show you that Karmelo Anthony was barely indicted for first degree only a couple days ago, which was very concerning. Okay, there's also new footage that came out. So I got a lot to get to today, guys. This is a big case. And let me just tell you real quickly, this was a fatal stabbing at a Texas track meet. Okay, it was in Frisco, Texas. April 2nd, 2025, an altercation between two high school students during a district track meet in Frisco, Texas, led to first degree M and national scrutiny, and it's bringing to the table a lot of racist controversies. All right, now the incident occurred in the bleachers of the, I'm not sure how to say it, Kuykendall Kuykendall Stadium and resulted in the death of Austin Metcalf. Now, the accused Karmelo Anthony he was 17 at the time that this happened. All right. Now, he's the one that stabbed to death Austin Metcalf. All right. Now, Sherry says this was a mess. Yes, Austin has a twin brother that's going to be affected for their whole life. And I got to tell you guys, the Karmelo Anthony family are also victims. They did not choose for Karmelo to do this. So in fact, they were being attacked and accused as well. So I'm for the side of all victims, and I'm not saying that just Austin Metcalf is a victim. Everybody involved is a victim in this case. All right? Now, teenage boys these days, but you should not take a knife or a gun to school. All right. And that's where he went wrong. What's wrong with good old fist fighting? What's wrong with a good old wrestling match? What's wrong with a good old tackling like we used to do in the old days where nobody got their life taken? All right. So Jen's a gypsy. Good to see you, my friend. I'm so happy I meandered into a members only. And I'm happy too, because you can win a Foxy box that's going to be also donating to Michaela Reigns and the harassment by, death by harassment and bullying fund. All right. Thank you so much for the $4.99 super sticker. I appreciate that. Snarky I'm so glad you guys are here, and I'm so glad that you guys are in it to discuss. Yeah, this is not about race. As you know, I'm Spanish and Puerto Rican, and there's black Puerto Ricans and there's white Puerto Ricans, and I'm on the lighter side of Puerto Rican. All right. So I don't have any interest in a special race. I'm not racist. You guys know I'm empathetic, and I try to be as non-judgmental as I can. Now, when it comes to people that are the people that committed the crime, like for instance, Stephen Stearns, we've clearly seen what's happened in the Stearns case and what evidence they have. We can say, Stephen Stearns, you're a dirty man. You're a dirty, evil dude. We can say that. All right. So again, thank you guys. Let me tell you, it seems like a lot of you guys know about this case. April 2nd, 2025, during a rainy track meet, Karmelo Anthony sought shelter under a tent designed for Memorial High School athletes. Now, Austin Metcalf, the victim from the school, reportedly asked Anthony to move. Okay. Austin said, "Can you move, Anthony?" And witnesses say that escalated and Metcalf touched or grabbed Karmelo. Now, 9:55 a.m. surveillance footage. I'm gonna show you that today, guys. There's new footage. There's a new indictment. This is all new information. Nothing that you've probably seen before, because there's exclusive content on Court TV that only I'm playing right now. All right. Now, Michelle says, "Jay, from a hairdresser, your hair is fire." Thank you. I'll take that, girl. I'll take that. Thank you so much. I do it myself. So thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Now, listen up here. All right. So check this out. Footage shows that Karmelo reached into his backpack and pulled out a knife and stabbed Metcalf in the chest once. Shortly after, Metcalf attempted to flee but collapsed in the bleachers. His twin brother, Hunter, tried to save him. Emergency responders arrived within minutes, but CPR and other efforts left Metcalf pronounced dead at the hospital. Same day, Karmelo was arrested at the scene. According to the affidavit, he told officers, "I did it." Then he asked if he can be considered self-defense. Now, remember, guys, this is in Texas, all right? This is in Texas, all right? This is in Texas, and Texas is a stand-your-ground state. But it doesn't allow people to go to school and take weapons. So you got to remember that. And when you kind of want to feel bad, don't. All right. Michelle, I did not see that you gifted the membership. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You're awesome. So much. You guys are awesome. All you guys are awesome. And this is a sad and controversial case. All right. All right. So trigger warning for everything that we're going to talk about today. I want to put this up because I want to show you the bleachers of what I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you the Frisco ISD releases video on the fatal attack. I want to show you guys that development in the case. Okay, so he was pronounced dead. Anthony was released. Now listen, Karmelo was released on April 14th, 2025. He only served 10 days and he was released on a $250,000 bond and placed under house arrest with the ankle monitor. Now, June 24th, 2025, this is 3 days ago, a Collin County grand jury indicted Karmelo Anthony of first-degree murder. If convicted, guys, he faces up to an entire life sentence. All right, so I want you to see this new footage that came out of the stabbing as this person describes what happened. And then, guys, we're going to get into the controversial GoFundMe. I don't think that's right. And the Give, Go, Send that's looking for $1 million. Okay, this is absolutely ludicrous. And Shelly, if there's a brother speaking to a reporter, go ahead and send that to me. I have a huge episode for today, so I'd love to do that. Kel, what's up? How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Man, this is a sad story, and I want you guys to know Austin Metcalf's name by the end of this episode.
SD is releasing surveillance video of the stabbing at the track meet that led to the death of a student back in April, but only under very strict conditions. So through open records, they will allow whoever requests it to view that video, but no recording whatsoever is allowed. Yep. On that note, we sent our IT producer, Murd3r, to watch that video. She joins us now in studio to walk us through what you saw. We're going to go in order here in just a second, Kelsey, but in general terms, what did the video depict? What did you see?
It shows everything from the moments leading up to the stabbing to the medical response to then the beginning of the police investigation.
Okay, and it lasted several minutes is what they showed you.
It did, about 30 minutes.
Okay, so let's start in the beginning now and talk a little bit about what you saw at the front end of that video, because you got to see the attack, the actual stabbing took place.
So it starts, I started watching about 9:53. The camera shows half of the field. So it's about from the 50-yard line on, and the tent where it happened was kind of right in front of the 50-yard line, but the camera is down here. Okay. It's positioned across the field. So everybody in the video, you can tell there are kids or adults, but no one's identifiable.
So a long shot is what
a long shot, yeah.
So a couple of minutes in and you...
All right, and I want you guys to know that if anything you've watched up until this point, this is all new information. This is all new news reports, all new information, all new footage. So if you thought you knew, there's going to be so much more for you to know. Now, Shelly, if you look down below, you'll see guilty of crime by j@gmail.com. All right. Thank you, Teresa. I appreciate you. Pay attention to this because it's really going to outline the stabbing of Austin Metcalf. And then the next clip, you guys are going to be, I think you guys are going to feel outraged like I do about the press conference that the defense put on. Not only that, but the way the family speaks about Austin. It's almost like they're creating this alternate Karen Reed campaign where we forget all about the victim and we focus on the person that did it. Now, I don't think that, I really don't think that Karen Reed was guilty. I think she was guilty of what they found her guilty of, but you'll see what I mean when I say that. It's like a campaign to hashtag forget Austin, hashtag Karmelo Anthony is innocent. It's really weird. It's like an alternate universe. All right.
You actually see the altercation take place.
Yes, everything leading up to it, everyone's milling about. It seems very normal. And then right at 9:55, that's when like there's this explosive movement or action between two people under the tent. And that's when the employees in the room told me that's when the stabbing happened at 9:55.
Right. And you were talking about people kind of start to scatter at that moment. Obviously, something went wrong. And so what happens next? Because now, a little bit later on, that's when the ambulance shows up.
Right. So when the ambulance arrives, it actually comes through near the end zone at the gate, and then it comes up to the 50-yard line directly in front of the tent. You can see Austin Metcalf is right here. But then when they pull up close to the tent, they realize that they can't get the stretcher to him because of the barrier of the bleachers. So at that point, then the paramedics have to get out, and then they have to walk all the way back to the end zone. This is actually, in the next slide. They have to go all the way back to the end zone and then come all the way back. That takes another couple of minutes. So at this point, they've arrived and they are actively working
Yeah, so you're seeing this. She's explaining it. We're going to talk about what happened. I have the arrest report as well, although I'm not going to sit there and read it a whole bunch. This thing just got out of control. And it is. You guys are right. It's not just the Aryan people, guys. I got to tell you, I just saw a clip that showed somebody saying that Austin Metcalf, they were saying, oh, good job or whatever, that he's gone. He took one more person out. It's becoming a real battle of the races. And I don't know why, because it should be about Austin Metcalf getting his life taken by Karmelo Anthony. Thank you so much, Foxy. I hope somebody gets a membership that wants to be in chat today and win a Foxy box. All right. And I'll post that up while I finish this. It's heartbreaking. It's triggering.
On Metcalf at that point.
And we want to reiterate, we're using some imagery here to sort of denote exactly what was happening here. These little icons that we're using, the ambulance, because again, the video was not able to be released. You're watching all of this happen, Kelsey, and you're watching the time sort of elapse. What are you thinking about when you see this, especially when you see sort of the issues in getting Metcalf out of there?
I mean, you know, I understand why it happened the way it happened. They were still working on him. Actually, the thing that really struck me is they're working on him, and that's when you see the rain's coming down heavier, and then they actually pull out the blue tarp.
The blue tarp that we saw.
Right, and then I noticed the crime scene tape is already up. I was so focused on here, I didn't even see that, but they're building the crime scene actively around him as they're continuing to work on him in the bleachers.
So that was happening while he was still there.
Yes, he's in the bleachers.
And in closing here, because we know that several minutes had elapsed, and people are sort of scurrying in different areas. What do we know about the suspect in this?
All right, now after this, I'm going to read you a quick article, and I do have the law and crime queued up that just came out, so that should have everything you guys are looking for. But before that, we're going to get into the I cannot believe that they were able to buy a car and a house. I mean, they are asking for $1.4 million, and they've gotten half of it, guys. They've literally gotten half of it, and it's like the name is so drowned out, it's crazy. Now says he falsely claimed to be a member of insane vice lords and no among gangs. All right, let's keep going. I'm not gonna say nothing
Karmelo
yet.
Anthony and his whereabouts.
So I asked the women in the room, the employees, I said, of everybody on this screen, is Karmelo Anthony in here? And they said, you know, we couldn't tell you, we don't know. And honestly, it was so hard. Once it happened, you know, there's people going this way, that way, this way, and this way. So it was just hard to know what direction he headed.
All right, Kelsey, thank you very much for describing that for us. We appreciate it. We should let you know that the case will be presented to a grand jury, which will then decide whether to indict 17-year-old Karmelo Anthony.
All right, he's now indicted. We're going to pull that down. I'm going to show you what he's actually being accused of, and then I'll go over everything else, the campaign, the craziness. What is he accused of? All right, so there he is. This was June 25th, 2 days ago. There is Anthony Karmelo in his nice suits. He's dressed nice. The family's dressed nice. Clark says Karmelo got a black Lexus, which I didn't know about. So if that is true, thank you for sharing. I can't say I know for sure. All right, yeah, do me a favor, hit that like button and get this in the algorithm. What you do need to know about this case is Karmelo Anthony was arrested after being accused of stabbing Austin on April 2nd. Anthony has claimed that he was protecting himself during an altercation. Now, he was formally indicted by a grand jury on first degree on June 24th, 3 days ago. All right, we already went over kind of how all this happened. Anthony allegedly stabbed him, which we saw the video shows. However, the situation quickly escalated after Anthony allegedly told Metcalf, "Touch me and see what happens." The eyewitness claimed that Metcalf then began, we're talking about Austin, began to move and grab Anthony Karmelo. So the latter is believed to have retaliated by pulling a knife out of his bag and stabbing Metcalf in the chest. Now, Austin died by the time he had arrived to the hospital. Both athletes were 17 at the time of the incident. Anthony seemingly admitted to killing Metcalf when he allegedly told officers he did it, but he claimed, it's in Texas, that he was protecting himself. Karmelo, his fate will be determined by a court. He's been indicted. There's going to be a trial. We don't know when. All right. This is Austin Metcalf. Please don't forget his name. Anthony and Austin had their fatal track meet run, and they were both 17. The former was a student at Frisco Centennial High School and latter attended Frisco Memorial. According to a copy of the probable cause affidavit obtained by People, we also have the arrest report. An eyewitness told police that Anthony was sitting under a Memorial High School tent, so Metcalf, Austin told him to leave. All right, we talked about the grabbing a bag and reaching out. Shortly after the altercation, which allegedly took place within 30 seconds, officer identified and arrested him. All right, he was protecting himself, etc. And it says, what was Karmelo charged with? On June 24th, the DA announced that he had formally been indicted by a grand jury on first degree. I'm going to save the rest of this because we're going to listen to them talking about it, and I don't want to double read it. All right. It's heartbreaking and senseless, and it's a little scary because it is in Texas. Racist people are coming out of the woodworks, and it's not okay. It's not okay how this is playing out, and I cannot wait to show you how this, I feel like it's a campaign, you guys. I just feel like it's a campaign to forget Austin Metcalf when in fact we really need to do the opposite of that. So let me show you the formal indictment, and then we're going to listen to something that you've never seen before. All right. And please, don't, when people have usernames and they don't want to be used, let's not do that. Okay. If someone has a username named Edith, but her real name is not Edith, instead it's Jane, let her be Jane. All right. So we don't do that. All right, let's listen to this real quick and then we'll keep going. It's crazy. Even Court TV calls it out, the way the defense acts. But first, I'm going to show you the give, go, send real quick for the people that weren't here.
The Frisco 18-year-old accused of stabbing and killing another student at a track meet was indicted today for first-degree murder. Karmelo Anthony is accused of killing 17-year-old Austin Metcalf in the stadium stands during the April meet. Anthony was 17 at the time and has been charged as an adult. Fox 4's Amelia Jones has more tonight. Amelia.
Now, let me tell you something real quick because I want the real information to be out there, Wyatt. A $250,000 bond is $25,000. Everywhere you go, unless it's another country, it's like that. In California, it's like that almost everywhere, Wyatt. If somebody says you have a $250,000 bond, it means you as a person has to pay $25,000 with a bail bondsman. So that's always the case of that. They didn't lower it. That's just what it is. Now, if you have $250,000 in your pocket, you can go give that to a judge as long as it's clean money. All right. So that's what it was. He got out. That's where we are. And unfortunately, they're raising absorbent amounts of money, and they're creating a campaign that says Justin's life, in my opinion, their campaign is saying Austin's life didn't matter, but we should focus on Karmelo Anthony and get him out of this. That's what I see here, but I don't see races. All right. Now, if it was over $1 million bond and it must have got lowered in between, I don't have that, but let's keep going. Let's listen to the indictment, and then you're going to hear some real snarky people.
Steve, the indictment is the natural next step in any criminal case, and it paves the way for the case to move closer to a potential trial. The Collin County DA's office and Karmelo Anthony's defense attorney released video statements about the indictment. Both shared that they will be ready to present their case in court when the time comes. Tuesday, a Collin County grand jury indicted 18-year-old Karmelo Anthony for first-degree murder. He's accused of stabbing 17-year-old Austin Metcalf at a Frisco ISD track meet earlier this year. Anthony was 17 at the time of the stabbing, and he's being tried as an adult. The Collin County District Attorney's Office released a rare video statement.
I'm not going to listen to this because we're going to listen to it after. This is controversial. Even how this guy is talking is a bit ridiculous, guys. I'm not happy about it. We're going to play that. We're going to start with Karmelo's family addressing the public, and listen how they just blow off. They don't even say Austin Metcalf. They're like, oh yeah, the Metcalf boy. That I think is ridiculous. I can say that the Anthony family is a victim because they didn't do this, but the way they're handling it, I understand they want to get their son off, but I wish that they would see this and understand that you can get your son off without victim blaming. And I feel like there's a lot of that going on. Nancy Jean, thank you so much for the $4.99 super sticker. It all goes back to the channel. I appreciate it. All right, you guys just wait. I can't wait till the next one, guys.
About the indictment.
When something like this happens at a school event, it shakes people to the core. But let's remember that the justice system works best when it moves with steadiness and principle. That's what we're committed to, and that's what this case deserves.
Anthony's defense attorney also put out a video statement reiterating Anthony's claims that he acted in self-defense.
We expect that when the full story is heard, the prosecution will not be able to rule out the reasonable doubt that Karmelo Anthony may have acted in self-defense.
The case has gained national attention and set off a social media firestorm.
Yes.
Much of what's swirling online is misinformation. The full story likely won't come out until a potential trial.
There's certainly a lot more to learn. The indictment really focuses on what we would call the elements of a crime.
Russell Wilson is a former Dallas County prosecutor who's not involved in this case. He says the misinformation could be one reason why both sides chose to record statements on such a procedural matter.
I just think it's a reflection of the serious nature of the case and the heightened public interest.
Austin Metcalf's father, Jeff Metcalf, sent us a statement about the indictment. It says, quote, "I am pleased that we are moving forward with the..."
Oh, just wait till we hear the statement, Shelley. We might not even listen to the full statement, because to me, and to not just me, but listening to other people, it's almost insulting to Austin Metcalf as a victim. I feel like these are big insults. To me, I feel like it's a big blow to the Metcalf family, the way the Give, Go, Send fund and the GoFundMe, how people are just, I just don't understand. It doesn't feel like this was a accidental. It got raised. Their emotions were high, and it just seems like he was already expecting that. And I mean, I feel like it's premeditated. If you have enough time to reach into your backpack and grab a weapon that you thought about and you put in there, the premeditated goes along with it. All right. All right. Now, Teresa, you don't have to do that. But if you don't want someone to know your name, you can change it. Oh, you are using your real name. You could change that in the YouTube so people don't know your first and last. Nobody needs to know exactly who you are except for you. All right. All right. Let's keep going.
First-degree murder indictment, it now goes into the court system. I fully believe that justice will be served for Austin Metcalf. I look forward to the forthcoming trial, but it will never bring back my son. It will be up to the court to set a date for the trial. In the meantime, the defense and prosecution will prepare their cases. The defense will see what information the state has gathered and will do their own investigation.
Certainly, there will be a lot more things happening in between now and then.
Yeah.
But certainly when the jury trial does come, the world will be watching.
Thank you. All right, let's get to this next one. Thank you so much for the super sticker. You guys, this is a Karmelo Anthony indicted for track meet murder, and it's a members first. I subscribe to Court TV because I want to know everything that's happening and when. Thank you so much, Snarky Fans. I love your sticker. You put eyebrows on that dog. Thanks for the laugh. I appreciate it. All right, so this one gets me. This one's a little bit of a heart jerker to me, because I feel like everybody's so focused on I feel like it's almost victim blaming. I don't know. All right, did the boys know each other before this? That's a good question. I know that they were at the track meet. They didn't go to the same school at the same time. All right, so I'm not exactly sure what their relation is, but I want you to listen to this statement after the indictment, and I'll stop it and tell you what I'm thinking too, of course.
In wake of this tragic incident.
All right, now this is Karmelo Anthony's family speaking about the crime and about the trial that's going to come up. All right. Now, you say you think Anthony Sr. should be charged as an accessory. He knew Karmelo was not supposed to be there. It is victim blaming. Yeah, I do. I want you guys to make up your mind for yourself. So I don't want to say it is. I want you to listen to this and hear how they just completely wash Austin Metcalf out of this, and Karmelo. It's all about the Anthony family. Give, me. It's really terrible. That's just my opinion. All right, let's listen to this, and then you'll see I'll show you again the give, go, send. I absolutely think it's wrong to be giving money like that, but I think they did it purposely with the PR, a public relations campaign. And this is part of that campaign. This talk right here that we're listening to is part of that campaign.
Our family has been under attack. Whatever you think, what happened between Karmelo and the Metcalf boys, my 3 younger children, my husband, and I did.
All right, did you hear that again? She's playing victim, in my opinion, and she just says that Metcalf boy. I didn't hear Austin's name at all in any of this, and I went back and I was like, wait, what happened there? Is there one where Austin's dad was there to try to get him to leave? I'm not exactly sure. We haven't got there. Kel says, you have an amazing soul. Love how you focus on the victim. Much love to you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Absolutely. We're here for the victim and then the people that surround it. But this, she didn't even say his name. What is this?
Karmelo and the Metcalf boys,
The Metcalf
my 3 younger
boy.
children, my husband, and I didn't do anything to deserve to be threatened, harassed, and lied about.
Yeah.
That is the mother of Karmelo Anthony speaking out and talking about what's happening.
And that's why I say, Shelly, this is about the victim first. Anything else comes after that. And yes, the families have been harassed because it's becoming a racist issue, and it shouldn't be. I'm trying to show you guys that this has nothing to do with races. Don't look at Karmelo's skin. Don't look at Austin's skin. Just look at the facts of what happened here and how it's going down and how this campaign is really just washing out the victim. And the fact that they're looking to get $1.4 million and people are donating, I think that's terrible. I think that's awful, guys.
To her family after her son allegedly stabbed another student to death.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yes,
the case has now gone to the next level. The grand jury heard evidence, and now the district attorney is speaking out. Let's take a listen to the district attorney and then the response of Karmelo Anthony's attorney.
All right, guys, the reason I wanted you to listen to this part, because even Vinny and all of his people are like, what the, did we lose? Are we losing users by listening to this? This is ludicrous, what he's about to say. Now, Lynn, shout out to Vermont. This is murder caught on tape. Karmelo Anthony indicted for first degree. Will he get life in prison? This absolutely is, to me, it's a disgusting case, and it's going into many different levels. And MM Clark, absolutely, you're right that they're playing into that. You can see it clearly. All right. But again, the family's going to do what they have to do for their son because it's their son. I understand that, but I don't like the race issues. I don't like how they're washing out the victim. And I'm not going to let that happen. Frankly, I'm here to not let that happen. I'm here to show you who Austin Metcalf is and make sure that you say his name. All right. Austin Metcalf. Everybody's saying Karmelo wanted to be a gangster. That was so disrespectful by saying the Metcalf boy and then preaching about something else. It was terrible. When I saw that, I'm like, I didn't have my topic completely for today. I put it up for you guys to vote, but it disgusted me, guys. I gotta say, I really don't like that. Now, listen, this is his defense attorney, and I don't like it. Just listen. Karmelo Anthony's defense attorney, please stay here and just listen.
Good afternoon. Earlier this spring, our community was shaken by what happened at a school track meet in Frisco. The violent loss of 17-year-old Austin Metcalf. For weeks now, my team has been presenting evidence to the grand jury, and today I summarized that evidence, and I asked the grand jury to return a first-degree murder indictment against Karmelo Anthony, which they did. With this indictment, the case now moves formally into the court system. From this point forward, we'll continue doing our job both fully and fairly to pursue justice under the law. As for the scheduling of the trial, that will be up to the court. But when the time comes, we will be ready. Now, we know that this case has struck a deep nerve here in Collin County and beyond. And that's understandable. When something like this happens at a school event, it shakes people to the core. But let's remember that the justice system works best when it moves with steadiness and principle. That's what we're committed to, and that's what this case deserves. We're also mindful of Austin's family and everyone who loved him. Please keep them in your thoughts, and if you're willing, your prayers as well. Finally, let's remember that a defendant is presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty in a court of law.
You know, what he's saying, and you're going to see from Vinny, who was a defense or a prosecutor, right? A defense attorney or a prosecutor at one time. I always forget. I know he was an attorney. Austin only wanted to leave the tent. Yeah, he wanted him to leave the tent because he didn't belong in the school tent, and it got heated. All right. Yet they still, that's what I'm saying, Shannon. That's what I'm saying. This needs to stop. All of this needs to stop. This is not about race. And I hope the jury doesn't see it that way. Okay. Let's keep going. You guys can be heartbroken and disgusted with me. All right.
An indictment simply means that a grand jury, after hearing only the prosecution side of the story, determined that there was enough evidence to allow the case to move forward to court. That's all an indictment means. Karmelo and his family are confident in the justice system and the people of Collin County to be fair and impartial. Of course, Karmelo looks forward to his day in court.
Now, I'm telling you, they're paying for the best legal team, and that's fine. That's great. I understand that. Yeah, what I don't understand is these kids doing that. I don't understand how that kid got out of the house with a giant knife, and he's looking almost like, it's like he's, what do you call, people are looking up to him and saying, good job, man. You took one out. You took one for the team. It's disgusting. That is disgusting. And just wait, just listen to this. Even if you get bored for a second, listen.
It's only in a trial that a jury will hear the full story, one that includes critical facts and context that the grand jury simply didn't get to hear. It's only in a trial that both sides get to present evidence and cross-examine each other's witnesses. This is why our justice system is based on the principle of a full and fair trial. That's because it's only in a trial that the full story can be heard and that impartial justice can be done. We expect that when the full story is heard, the prosecution will not be able to rule out the reasonable doubt that Karmelo Anthony may have acted in self-defense. Self-defense is a fun.
Now, I wasn't talking about this guy. This guy is the attorney. I was talking about Vinny up here, Lisa, or somebody. Michelle, you said that's a district attorney. This is not the district attorney, and that's not what I was talking about. I was talking about Vinny, what Vinny used to be. All right.
Fundamental right guaranteed every American. The law is clear. When self-defense is raised by the facts, the law puts the burden squarely on the prosecution to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the citizen accused did not act in self-defense. The law does not expect or require the citizen accused to prove that they acted in self-defense. It's actually the opposite. The law requires the prosecution to rule out the reasonable doubt that the citizen accused may have acted in self-defense. We understand that this case has sparked strong reactions. Please remember that there are real human beings, kids, on both sides of this case. We ask that everyone do as the law requires and withhold judgment until all the evidence can be heard in court.
Yeah.
We are confident that when all the facts are presented and the full story is heard, the jury will reach the right conclusion and justice will be done.
Blah, blah, blah,
Let's bring
blah,
back in
blah.
our think tank here in studio, Al.
After a while, guys, I heard blah, 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 blah. PR campaign, Karmelo Anthony, innocent, not guilty. Okay, blah, blah. All right. And happy Friday to everybody. Yeah, no weapons on campus or at school, period. Let's see how that plays with the jury. and the judge and everything else. All right. All right. Let's listen to what they have to say.
Wunsch, the third, Matthew Mangino, Josh Schiffer. So self-defense, right? It sounds to me, and the reaction of the public as well, this has struck a nerve. This is reminding me of the Kyle Rittenhouse case out of Kenosha, Wisconsin. Was also a self-defense case, was also a case where a bunch of people came to the support of the accused murderer and was raising money as well.
That's what I was saying.
What are your thoughts
Thank
about
you.
how this is going to play out?
It was a track meet. We're at that point in our society where you could go to in a track meet, somebody is going to have self-defense and someone is going to be dead. I mean, this doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. It's a horrific thing. I think that the defense counsel made a big mistake putting what he did up on there. It was a ridiculous yawn. And then he doesn't say anything about a victim and the fact that there is a...
You hear that? See, it wasn't just me. I was listening to this. Again, this is a members first on Court TV. Of course, I got to do that so I know what's going on, guys. But this is just, I mean, over and over and over and over. We don't even know the victim's name. All I keep hearing is Karmelo Anthony, the Anthony family. And then I hear a bunch of racist comments. This is ridiculous. And I think it's gone way too far. And in my opinion, like I said, I don't see the color. I only see the facts. I don't see who's what color and what. And I won't bring race into this, but it's ridiculous.
A child who's dead. Okay.
Yep.
He goes right into a situation where he starts talking about the law and then it's a self-defense thing. I would have gotten up there and just said, listen, I'll see you in court.
Yep.
That's when you're going to hear what we're going to do. To put up that, it was an absolute travesty and it was a waste of time and it was foolish.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. You know, it was a yawner on top of everything else. I mean, you couldn't even really listen along. You kind of lost you.
Blah, 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 blah. Hey, I said that in my bedroom voice. You guys, did it work? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, shame on Vinny for trying to compare the two cases. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I didn't even catch that. I'm trying to focus on listening to what they're saying about Karmelo Anthony and then Austin Metcalf. It's crazy. I just don't know how cases like this go off the rails like that. But I guess we're part of social media and we're part of the YouTube and, social media content too.
On the technical
Hopefully we don't lose
aspects
any viewers.
Yeah.
Right?
But the thing is, it's certainly a tragedy. But again, we're in Texas, and Texas is a stand your ground state, and there's no duty to retreat in Texas. And, you can defend yourself if you reasonably believe that you're in imminent fear of bodily injury or serious bodily injury. But of course, there also has to be proportionality. I mean, you can't stab somebody who grabs you by the shirt or takes a swing at you necessarily. So it's going to be interesting to see how that develops. It's certainly different than the case we've talked about for the last couple of days on Court TV, the Valley case where there's somebody stabbed and you're in Connecticut and you have a duty to retreat and you have all that sort of thing going on. It's a whole different story in Texas.
To me, this case, there's supposedly some video that may show something. Maybe more than one video, but you've also got a bunch of witnesses.
And you guys got to stay here because we're going to get into that with the newest information and what they say to be video that we've never seen. We're talking about murder caught on tape. Karmelo Anthony indicted for first degree against Austin Metcalf. Will he get life in prison? All right. So if you guys just rolled in, we're talking about Austin Metcalf. We don't want to forget Austin by washing out his name with Karmelo, the Anthonys, Karmelo Anthony, race. No, yes, and he is a twin, Carrie, absolutely.
There's a bunch of athletes that are underneath this tent at the moment that this is happening. So if the grand juries come back and prosecutors are going with first degree murder against the 17-year-old, does that tell you anything about the case?
Yeah, it tells me that the DA is hunting for trophies, and he's got one, and he can't not hunt for trophies. That's why they gave him that job. Go get the biggest, baddest trophies you can, even when it's a couple of teenagers.
No, Shannon, they just indicted him on first degree and they're charging him as an adult. He absolutely can face life in prison, and he is facing that right now. All right. So take a life, give up your life, period. No, he's getting charged full force, guys, which thank God he should be charged as an adult, period.
Surrounded by people and a questionable death. He went for first. But here's my real problem.
Well, but you're
with
presuming
statements.
some facts there, right? You're presuming that this was self-defense. It sounds like that they're surrounded.
Well, that's just listen. No, I didn't even say surround. I said that's what the defense
Right.
is
Yeah,
going to
you
bring
did.
up, self-defense. And
Right.
it's one of the three defenses. It wasn't me. I didn't do it, and he needed killing. This was a he needed killing. That's what's going to come out in the defense. But here's my real problem with those two statements. Totally inappropriate manipulation of a potential jury pool on both of them. And that's bad. It's just bad form. Second of all, Mr. Defense Attorney, love you, feel you, all that. Don't ever talk about the full story coming out in a trial. Trial's an exercise in hiding evidence from jurors.
Again, just buckle up and get ready for this, guys, because this is going to be a full-on campaign. Now, they're not calling it a campaign, they're calling it a defense, but it is a campaign, and it's to distract people from what Karmelo Anthony did. It's to distract the public and have the public say, oh, poor guy, let's go fund me, or give him the ghost and let's help him. He's just a young man. All right. I don't know what's up with the red glasses. What I'm going to say is it's Pride Month, baby. And when I see it, that guy, I think that's just a gay man, ultra, extra. I'm pretty sure I've seen this guy before. So happy Pride Month, baby. We're still in the month. All right, let's keep going.
That's
absolutely
what
is.
trial is. And if anybody can talk about, look at what we've watched the last 6 months.
Right. Yeah.
So what are we going to show a jury is what a trial is.
Exactly. So there's an update from the family of Karmelo Anthony. This has been another point of controversy and debate online. And I'll read this. This is from their Give, Send, Go.
He's funny. It's hard. I forget that too. It's give, send, go. I'm always thinking it's give, go, send. So we're going to talk about that a little bit here. I just want to show you something for a second. I'm going to pull this down just so I can show it to you, because I am very visually motivated as well. When I see visual, I'm all good. I can tell, but take a look at this. So the first one, we're going to talk about what happened with the GoFundMe. It got pulled down. It got up to 160,000, and GoFundMe said we cannot have a campaign for somebody that commits violent crime. So they went to Give, Send, Go, and they've raised 540,175. Their goal is $1.396725 million, guys. They've already gotten that amount of money. So look at that, what's happening there. And yes, happy Pride Month. Now, he can get a life sentence, but possibly not LWAP. I promise, Debbie, I did my research on this. He can get a life sentence. But yeah, not the death. Oh, you did say that. He can get a life sentence. He just can't get the death penalty. I don't think the death penalty is on the table at all. And I'm sorry, I read it wrong. Yeah, the death penalty is not on the table at all. But I mean, it's kind of disgusting that GoFundMe, the Give, Go, Send is that high. What about the twins? What about the family? It is very odd, right? How are they justifying that? I normally don't care what people do with that or whatever, but this is odd. It's really odd. Let me tell you what it says so you can see. It says, help Karmelo, official fund, support the Anthony family. We are grateful for your support during this incredibly difficult time for Karmelo Anthony and his family. This fundraiser has been established to provide comprehensive assistance to Anthony family as they navigate the many challenges surrounding the Karmelo case. That's all it says, guys. It says the purpose of the fund. While legal defense is a critical part of the journey, we want to make it clear that this fund is not, this fund is not solely dedicated to legal expenses. The funds raised will also support a range of urgent and necessary needs that have emerged as a result of this situation, including but not limited to, listen up, the safe relocation of the Anthony family. There you go. That's them buying a house due to escalating threats to safety as well, guys. You guys talked about getting a car, basic living costs, transportation, counseling, and other security measures. We ask for your continued prayers, support, and solidarity. Your contribution not only helps protect and stabilize the family, but also serves as a powerful message of community care and resistance in the face of injustice. You guys, what injustice? What injustice is here that got what injustice happened to the Karmelo or the Anthony family? You tell me, what injustice? You know why they went to give, send, go, Carrie? Because give, send, go, you do anything that you want. They don't have stipulation on what they're using it for. So they did buy a house and a car, and it says right there that they're going to do that. I think them talking about an injustice is kind of ridiculous if you ask me, but hey, I don't know. Maybe I'm not seeing the other side to it. But what about the victim? I just don't get it. I don't get where the victim comes into any of this. I feel like it's a one-sided case. Teresa Letcher, thank you so much for the $9.99 super sticker and supporting the Guilty of Crime channel. I appreciate it. He's going to need butterscotch discs. Hey, we'll see about that. Let's go. Let's talk about the Anthony family update. We still have a lot to go today, guys.
Page. Today we received the official news that our son is indicted. Your nephew, your friend, your neighbor. This is a moment we hope we would never face, yet one we've been preparing
Not that I
for.
know of.
Your support has reminded us that we're not alone. Your love helped us stand in the face of heartbreak, threats, and misinformation. One that will demand everything from us emotionally, financially, and spiritually. Some may wonder what this fund is truly for. We want to clarify that. So there's a list. Safe relocation for our family after repeated threats and the public leaking of our address. Basic living expenses that we had to uproot our lives. Transportation to and from court proceedings. Trauma-informed counseling, and for our entire family. Enhanced.
And don't you guys think that the Metcalf family should have some of this money to help protect them, because people are coming after them as well? I mean, this is just crazy, guys. To me, it feels like an injustice. Maybe somebody could tell me what I'm missing here, but we're barely hearing. I mean, even in this report here, you guys, we're only hearing about Karmelo Anthony. Where is the justice in this? I hope at the end of the day, when the verdict comes down, that there's more justice than there is right now.
Security measures and critically retaining qualified legal counsel and a thorough, fair investigative team. This has been this is a new in the world we're in now. Mm-hmm. All these defendants, not all of them, but a lot of the high-profile defendants are raising lots of money. Karen Reed over $1 million, Luigi Mangione over $1 million. I don't know how much they've raised, but they're raising funds as well.
Yeah. That's crazy.
And that scares me.
Why does that scare you?
Well, because you know what, you're putting stuff up here and you're losing focus on the case. Oh, we need to be able to move. We need to be able to do this. We need to be able to do that. Woe is me. Okay, we have a victim. We have a dead child.
Yep.
We have a child who's got a first-degree charge against them. That's the principal focus. When you start bringing in, well, we need transportation. We need this. We need that. We need groceries. We need
we
food.
need to break.
We need top ramen. We need macaroni and cheese. We need some Twinkies. What else do you guys need? Tell us about it. Yeah, that to me, that's what you call a grifter, guys. I wouldn't call $4.99 super stickers much of a grift. All right, I would call $1.4 million a grift, and then to completely wash out Austin's name, an injustice.
We're out of time. Al Wunsch, Matthew Mangino, Josh Schiffer. Great to have you aboard.
Thank you.
Quick programming note, folks.
All right, now they're going to go on to another topic we're going to get off of. And if you guys hadn't noticed, please pay attention. You guys are on a members only chat today. So if you're here and you can't chat, it's because you're not a member of the Guilty of Crime family. also, guys, we're going to give away a Foxy box to you guys, anybody in green, and donate to the Michaela Raines Save a Fox Foundation. Okay, so I don't know if it's a foundation, but the Save a Fox in memory of Michaela Raines taking her life over bullying. All right, so thank you guys. If you can't chat, all you got to do is get a membership, guys, and then you can come right in and then enter to win that box today, the Foxy box. Listen, Bree, thank you for listening, and I'm glad you're paying attention. GoFundMe policy is only for legal expenses, but it's a no if it's legal expenses for a violent crime. So listen up, Bree. They did raise $160,000 on GoFundMe, and GoFundMe pulled the campaign down. So they went to Give, Send, Go. They put it up for $1.4 million, and now they have $560,000. All right. We love Foxy boxes, and we love foxes too. Yes, Metcalf. All right, let's listen up. There is new surveillance footage, shows deadly track meet, and so much more, guys. This is all new. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Get a membership if you can. Thank you. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys.
Following a major update in the case of a high school athlete allegedly stabbed to death by another high school athlete at a track meet.
I asked the grand jury to return a first-degree murder indictment against Karmelo Anthony, which they did.
A Texas district attorney taking to social media to announce Karmelo Anthony is formally facing charges that could lock him up.
I don't know.
But that's not the only big development in this case. We got our hands on details of a surveillance video of the alleged attack that killed Austin Metcalf. We will dive into what it shows. We're on the case.
Yeah, today I just saw this case come up, and I started listening to it while I was getting ready this morning, guys. And I said, this isn't a justice. If this is not the best case to present on guilty of crime, I don't know what is. You know what I'm saying? All right, and thank you. Yes, Foxy Box theme giveaway with a $25 donation in the winner's name to Save a Fox in honor of Michaela Raines. All right. And I love you guys. Thanks for being here, Carrie and Teresa. And you're absolutely welcome. A lot of people just rolled in late. It's all good. I don't mind explaining things again. That's part of being in the fam, right? Sometimes we have to say things again and again. And I do really well at repeating myself. So thank you.
It's presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris Stewart.
No, we don't need to listen to all that.
Saying that he acted in self-defense. Now, what does the evidence say? At least the evidence that we know about at this point. The school district in Frisco, Texas, has said it has surveillance video of Anthony's confrontation with Austin Metcalf at that midweek track meet in April, where Anthony allegedly stabbed Metcalf in the chest and killed him. At this point, he allegedly murdered him. We'll get into what that video reportedly shows in a moment, but here's what we know about what led up to that alleged attack on April 2nd in Frisco, north of Dallas. Austin Metcalf's and Karmelo Anthony's schools were competing at a track meet. If you've ever run track, you ever been to a track meet, you know that teams typically have spots around the track where athletes can hang out with their teammates in between events. In Austin Metcalf's case, he was with his twin brother and their teammate.
All right, guys. Now you're seeing pictures of the family. I'm just going to stop for a second, say a prayer for the Metcalf family, that they get the justice they deserve. And you're right. You know what? The Decker family, the Decker mom is getting over $1 million. And look at what she's doing with that money. Despite people giving criticism, that lady, the Decker mom, lost all 3 of her children. I wouldn't even want that money. I wouldn't care about any of that. I would be too heartbroken. I couldn't even imagine doing that. All right. So I hope that something turns around and the Metcalfs get justice. Look at those boys. You're welcome, Shannon. Thank you for being here.
It's under a tent, according to police, because rain had started to fall and that delayed the track meet. Now, witnesses say another athlete who wasn't on Metcalf's team stood under the tent. His
April
name
2nd
was Karmelo Anthony.
Karmelo Anthony, class of 2025, Centennial High School, Frisco, Texas.
That's video of Anthony mic'd up for a football tournament for Carolina Sports District that we found on YouTube. He and Metcalf were both football stars at their Texas high schools. Metcalf was taking recruiting visits at some big schools like Arkansas. He planned to play at the next level. And Anthony also posted on social media that he was receiving scholarship offers to go play college football. You wonder now if that will ever happen because of what he allegedly did next.
Yeah, why did he do that? I don't think that's going to happen. I do think the jury is going to see it a different way. Like, now I could only guess that the outcome of the jury may be a mistrial if they lead their campaign in the way that Karen Reed did. Let's say there's people outside of the courthouse and you start having racist battle of the racists. I can see getting a hung jury in that case, but let's pray that that doesn't happen, guys.
On April 2nd. That
April
day,
2nd.
Karmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf got into a confrontation under the tent. According to witnesses, Metcalf told Anthony to leave the team's tent. And at that point, Anthony allegedly reached into his backpack and said something along the lines of "make me." Here's what Austin's twin brother told WFAA TV.
All right, there it is, folks. I saw you in chat talking about the interview with Austin's brother. There it is, guys. You're right. So many young souls lost. And I hear you carry a jit, a jit bit. He looks like a jit, which is a jerk. All right, let's listen to the twin brother of Austin Metcalf.
There was this kid, before I knew his name now, this kid was sitting under our tent at track. We asked him
Poor
to move.
baby.
He started getting aggressive and talking reckless. And my brother stepped in and said, "You need to move." He's like, "Make me move." Austin grabbed his backpack. This kid, I tried to whip around as fast as I could, but I didn't see the stab.
Police say as Metcalf went to move Anthony, Anthony pulled out a knife and stabbed Metcalf in the chest. Metcalf died in his twin brother's arms. What Anthony allegedly did next could be damning if his case goes to trial. Anthony allegedly ran to another part of the...
And let me know if you guys want to see that at the end. I'll try to get that in. I do have that report. Thank you to Tiff. Tiff makes my collages. Tiff does everything. Not everything, because I have all the mods, but thank you all the mods and Tiff, which is our merchandise person. I hope that there's some links in chat for merch. Thank you so much, KV. I'm going to call you KV in Seattle. Hey, y'all. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. All right.
Track after stabbing Metcalf. When police arrived, the first officer to make contact with Anthony wrote in the arrest report that he asked Anthony to put his hands in the air. Then Anthony allegedly said, quote, "I was protecting myself." The officer also said that Anthony told him, quote, "He put his hands on me." And when the officer said that he had Anthony in custody, the teen allegedly said, and this is the damning part, quote, "I'm not alleged, I did it." Police say that Anthony ditched the knife and ran before he was arrested by officers who note in their reports that Anthony was hysterically crying when arrested, and he asked if Metcalf would be okay.
Welcome.
Anthony was
Welcome.
initially held on $1 million bond, but then the judge in this case, less than 2 weeks after he was arrested, lowered Karmelo's bond to $250,000, which
There it
he
is.
was able to make. Here's video per WFAA of Anthony walking free.
And you guys have to know, I know you guys know that it's very expensive to have a clothing the way that he did. And I'm not trying to be petty or nitpicky, but every time I see him, he's got a different suit on in a different color. Those things are really expensive, guys. I'm not wearing a suit, but I wear shirts like that to my work. And these shirts are in the upward, just a shirt alone is in the upward of $180 a shirt. Now you're talking a whole suit that's fitted. You're talking thousands of dollars, guys. Tell me what fairness you see in that along with the campaign to fight this thing and letting Austin's name drown. I don't know, man. I just don't see justice in this.
He will have to wear a GPS monitor, be on house arrest, and he checks in with the court each Friday. And if he doesn't follow those rules, he will go back into custody. Before we get back to this episode of On the Case, I want to talk about something important because
you want to talk about,
and $1 million was just too high of a bond for his family to be able to afford. Now, the lowering of the bond to $250,000 made the judge the target of threats.
There you
Collin
go,
County,
guys.
Texas posted on social media saying, quote, "We are aware of a social media post on this platform that appears to dox a sitting judge, sharing a judge's private information."
See, this is getting serious, guys. This is what social media does. When they don't like something, they go on a campaign, they dox, they criticize, they harass. I don't think we're going to be able to get around this in this day and age of 2025, guys. But we do have to have stricter laws on this. Can you imagine them doing this to a judge and then someone going to the judge's house and executing the judge? I mean, this is real. And sometimes when I don't say something at the beginning of a show, when we're talking about lowering the bond, it's just because I'm getting to it. And then, so thank you. Yeah, it's already getting messy, Lisa. Absolutely is.
Is a crime and will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Cameras may not be allowed in court for this case, but there is so much of this trial that is very visible playing out in the court of public opinion. A crowdfunding site has raised more than $500,000 for Karmelo Anthony's defense. People saying that they believe Karmelo is not a murderer and that he acted in self-defense. Anthony's family held a news conference saying they have become the victim of threats. Here's Anthony.
I call the news conference preaching and a PR campaign, guys. That's a freaking PR campaign if I ever saw one. Now, Daria, mainstream media has its own narrative, but social media and these type of platforms, they have a narrative, but they also go real life when they don't like what they're being told, and that's sad. All I see here is a PR campaign, guys, which is public relations. It's so that people will be outside of the courthouse wearing Karmelo Anthony shirts and, you know, just kind of picketing with their signs.
Anthony's mom speaking per KDFW.
In wake of this tragic incident, our family has been under attack. Whatever you think what happened between Karmelo and the Metcalf boys, my 3 younger children, my husband, and I didn't do anything to deserve to be threatened, harassed.
Now that I agree, people shouldn't be doing that to them. They shouldn't be doing that to the judges. They didn't do this. They're part of they got caught up in this because Karmelo decided to do this. Now, I don't know what culpability they have. I don't know if he sent his son to school with that knife. I don't know. But yes, you're right. No apologies, no accountability, nothing. I don't know.
And lied about.
And the tension between families has been high. At that same news conference, Jeff Metcalf showed up. He's Austin's dad. He was there. He stood in front of cameras and sunglasses and protest until he was escorted out per KTVT. Jeff Metcalf has also been vocal on social media, and he posted a response to the news that Karmelo Anthony, his son's alleged killer, had been indicted on a charge of first-degree murder. I'll tell you what he said in just a moment, but let's get to this grand jury indictment.
Earlier this spring, our community was shaken by what happened at a school track meet in Frisco. The violent loss of 17-year-old Austin Metcalf.
Collin County District Attorney Greg Willis posted that video on social media announcing that a grand jury has indicted Karmelo Anthony on a charge of first-degree murder. If found guilty, Anthony, who's now 18, could face between 5 to 99 years in prison. Jeff Metcalf, Austin's dad, posted on social media, quote, indicted first-degree murder, all in caps with hashtag.
And again, I support the Metcalfs. I support Jeff Metcalf. I'm glad that he's being, proper and he's doing his thing. I bet he feels really shitty not being able to go into a press conference or whatever they were trying to do their campaign. And yeah, Debbie, you're right. If that's what they're doing with convicted felons, representing them and using security people and spending money, then absolutely they're taking this way out and they're absolutely grifting. That's a lot of money, guys. That's a lot of money. I wouldn't be surprised if someone repeats this and then does the same thing. Like, hey, let's do a get rich quick scheme, commit a crime, and do a GoFundMe or go give send.
Justice for Austin. Karmelo Anthony's defense attorney is named Mike Howard.
Yes.
Mike Howard, your Dallas criminal defense lawyer, here to talk to you today.
All right. We
about
saw
what-
this. We saw this, so we're not going to watch
They're
it
not letting
again.
reporters take pictures of the video, but they did allow reporters to see it. WFAA in Dallas wrote that the video, it's wide angle of the stadium, and the incident happens in the small left corner of the screen. Quote, it's difficult to determine how many people are present or what exactly is happening at the tent. Around 9:55 a.m., a sudden movement is observed at the tent, but the alleged act itself is not visible. There are a lot of moving but heavily pixelated figures at the top of the bleachers, just above the tent, and at the bottom.
Yeah, this is a great episode that just came out days ago. And so I'm like, hey, if you guys don't know about the case, great. If you know about it, then maybe you haven't seen this. Thank you, Shelly. Thank you, everybody. Don't forget, guys, we had 160 people. We have 138. Gives you a better chance to win a Foxy box with a $25 donation in your name to save a fox. So thank you. If you leave, just don't leave. Just stay here and make sure you comment to get a chance. I really want someone that wants the box and the donation to win.
Of the tent. It appears to be sprinkling at the time, end quote. According to the TV station, that video is believed to be one of the pieces of evidence that was presented to the grand jury ahead of their indictment of Karmelo Anthony this week on a charge of first-degree murder. Joining us now is Bridget Williams, criminal defense attorney. Great to see you again. Thanks for talking about this story with us. What does this grand jury indictment mean for the case against Karmelo Anthony?
So this is just a regular routine process that has to happen for any felony case in the state of Texas.
Hey, you know what that means now, everyone? Because I'm covering this case, I can do a jumpsuit Pablo in the Karmelo Anthony case. And guys, that will definitely give us a little bit of a break from the sad, heartfelt stuff. Because jumpsuit Pablo, I'm sure, is gonna come hard at this case. So good. Yeah, he's not even close. He's not even close to that. He's not even close to being in prison yet. This thing just started, guys.
So any case that moves forward to an actual trial setting has to first go through a grand jury. So the thing is that a grand jury, they decide if there was enough probable cause for an officer to make an arrest. So it's a very stark difference from what the grand jury decides and what actually goes on in a trial. So the first step is
He's funny.
Arrest that was made by the police officers, did it rise to the level of probable cause? So was there enough evidence? And then if it moves forward to that, past that point, goes to a trial.
Oh, it's
the
already
burden is
there?
raised to beyond a reasonable doubt, which is much, much higher.
And
Me too.
Karmelo
Me too.
Anthony's now been indicted with first-degree murder. For it to be first degree compared to second degree, what will the district attorney in Collin County, Texas have to prove?
So first degree murder is pretty much meditated, intentional murder, right?
And that's what they're charging him with. I believe the family thinks it's unfair, but hey, he did confess initially, guys. And thank you, all you guys. Yeah, this is going to trial. I don't know when, because sometimes a trial can take a year or 2 or 3. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to bet you all that they're going to push this out as far as they can, because I know that's a defense strategy, to let things die down, let juries know about it, all that. It's definitely a defense move. JSP's been covering this and has plenty to say about what will happen to this kid. Yes, I agreed, and I see that. I just hadn't covered the case, so I didn't want to cover it here.
I intended to do this. Here in Texas, second degree would be reduced to a manslaughter charge, which gives not necessarily intent.
That's not going to happen.
Require premeditation, or just I intended for this to happen, the intentional killing of another. So that's the difference there. So it's a pretty straightforward thing there. Was there an intentional killing of another? And those are set elements that are set out in the Texas Penal Code.
He had it. He went in his
with that, if
backpack.
you look at what we understand police say happened at this track meet, and there was this altercation between Austin Metcalf and Karmelo Anthony, and Karmelo Anthony reaches in allegedly into his bag, and then Metcalf comes up to him, and then it feels very spur of the moment in some ways with the narrative that's been laid out. When you talk premeditated, this isn't a case where he woke up this morning probably and felt like he was going to go stab somebody.
No, but he woke up this morning and he took that knife and he put it in his backpack and he said to himself, if anybody messes with me, I'm going to take this and use it. You don't do that. You don't do that at school. You don't do that. And guess what? 2 hours ago, Jumpsuit Pablo came out with the video. Karmelo Anthony declares war on white prison gangs. Ex-con explains. We're going to play that at the end, guys, and it's going to give you guys a little bit of it's going to lighten up, but you're also going to see what is happening and what he's going to face. So yes, I didn't realize that he had a new one that came out. I just checked it. And if you haven't seen it, you're going to want to stay here and watch it. And if you're not here, you don't get to win a Foxy box. Thank you. All right, let's keep going.
Allegedly at a track meet. What's the time that fits in for it to be considered premeditated as opposed to being in the heat of the moment and something happens where I would assume it would be second-degree murder?
Yeah, that's a good point. I think that that's something that would come out in the trial setting. However, in this situation, Karmelo Anthony, he admits to the killing of this other young man, right? He admits to it and he states that he was defending himself. So he's saying, okay, I did intentionally.
Ding, ding, ding.
I meant to do that, but it was because I was defending myself and I felt threatened. I thought that he was going to harm me in some way. I thought that he was coming for me to assault me, to harm me. So I was defending myself. So that's really the difference here. I think that it's more of that difference of his desire to say, well, I was defending myself, opposed to necessarily the timing.
The district attorney who released the video last night saying that the death of Austin Metcalf, it was a violent death, and Karmelo Anthony has been indicted after the evidence was presented to a grand jury on first-degree murder charges. You're in the Dallas area. What do you know about the district attorney in that county, Greg Willis?
Yep. Greg Willis is, he's been the DA for a while over in Collin County. He's former prosecutor. He is someone who leads the DA's office pretty much fairly, I would say, in Collin County. But he is someone who's also going to be sure that he goes after the truth and pushes all of the DAs to do the same. But to make sure that
and I really do hope that the jury sees it that way. Foxy, not Karmelo, don't drop the soap, bro. Don't drop the soap. I do think that he really does think, and his family thinks he's going to get out. I think they're pretty proud of themselves for the grift that they're doing. We've never seen anything like this in recent history, right? This is all new to what's happening with social media and these GoFundMe accounts. It's crazy. And Don Grandma3, love ya. Good to see you. All my members only chatters. Thank you guys for supporting the channel all year long. I appreciate you. All right, let's keep going.
Go after the truth. Do it fairly. Make sure that every person is receiving the justice that they deserve. And make sure that each officer is doing their job properly. And so that's really what any district attorney's job is, to present evidence and the fact of all the evidence that's presented to them from the police department, provide that to the defense attorneys. And so that way that they can prepare for any trial setting and make sure that any defendant can present their case in a trial the best way they possibly can.
And in this case, let's talk about some of the evidence, some of the facts that have been laid out as far as what we're...
All right, he is out on bail and he's got an ankle monitor. He's out walking around with new cars, new houses, and a ton of money. All right. And to me, this is not okay. And this is why I picked up on this case, because I just don't see the justice in this so far. And the racism is just outrageous, man.
We're hearing from police. And I know we've talked about this before.
Thank you, Mama
Karmelo
Sage.
Anthony's defense is going to be that I felt threatened and I had to turn to force. And that ended up in the loss of life of Austin Metcalf. Based on what the law says in the state of Texas about self-defense, how strong of a case does he have?
I'm going to say, in my personal opinion, I don't think it's very, very strong. I'm just going to be honest with you. There's been such a very strong, just a heating, I guess, going on in the area where people are just upset about both sides.
Yep.
On both sides. But what I would say is that he doesn't necessarily have a very strong argument there for self-defense. Hopefully his defense counsel has something that they're going to be talking about in trial that we haven't heard yet.
Right, because I feel like they're giving everything out right now. It's like they're pleading their case to the public, you guys, and they're making it into a race war where you have a battle. It doesn't matter what you say or what's good. Yeah, it's not good. Sherlock, homegirl, good to see you. And everybody that's just rolling in, please do me a favor. It's members only chat today. So hit that like button so I get in the algorithm, see who's here. And then if you have the means to support the channel, super cash, super chat, super sticker, all that. If not, please don't. But we will be giving away a Foxy Bucks and a donation. So if you just rolled in, you're going to want to hit the like and at least comment in chat so that you have a chance to win. All right. No justice. Racism seems to be a number one. And I believe they're doing that on purpose. All right. I'm going to keep that up for a minute. We need justice for Austin Metcalf. He's getting washed. The victim and the family is getting all washed out in this case.
But based off of just what the law is right now, you have, as self-defense, you have to bring equal force to whatever it is that is assaulting you or that you are presented with. So if someone is pushing you, you don't necessarily have the liberty to go back and shoot them with a gun or stab them with a knife, right? Equal force for pushing would be back with your hands, right? That is equal force. And so it rises above equal force for what we would consider for self-defense on paper.
Because we don't have, there is surveillance video that I know the school district showed reporters, but it seems from the description that you can't really see a lot of what happened. And we don't know that there's video to this point that exactly shows it. But could Karmelo Anthony argue, his attorneys argue, that Austin Metcalf was being very physical with him, that it was more than pushing? I mean, when it comes to equal force, does it have to be a knife and a knife, a gun and a gun, hand-to-hand combat, as opposed to feeling threatened in a way that he was going to punch me in the face and it was going to cause me serious injury? So I had this knife and it's something that I had to use.
Yes, I think that's a great point. And those are the issues and the matters that the defense counsel will be raising, because those things are up to interpretation, right? And that's what's best for a trial setting. So again, on paper, it's supposed to be equal force. But when you move forward to a trial, the defense counsel is going to be discussing how he felt that this was in fact equal. This was the reason why he felt that he.
Yeah, if you guys look at the people in the back, that people are talking about those guys that they're hiring for security. In my opinion, it's probably family and friends that they're giving the money to. And there's a good possibility. I won't say that they're thugs or that they're gangsters or any of that. I don't know who those people are, but it's speculated that they are. And they're just giving out money at this point to their friends and family.
Need to do this in order to save his life, or why he felt it was necessary in order for him to walk away alive. So he had to do this.
Thank you.
He didn't feel like he would have been able to walk away.
There's been so much of this case that as it heads forward, we don't have cameras in the courtroom. Judge Angela Tucker decided against that, but there's so much that's visually playing out outside of court. And there's been threats. The judge was threatened. The family of Karmelo Anthony has said that they have been threatened. You've seen Jeff Metcalf of Austin Metcalf's dad. You can't imagine what he is going through, having lost a son. So there's just a lot of that playing out. And a big controversial part of this has been the bond. And that
That's
Karmelo
so
Anthony
not fair.
is accused of first-degree murder, but he's able to go home to his family after the bond was lowered from $1 million down to $250,000. What, from a legal perspective, went into that decision? Were you surprised that he was allowed out on bond?
Okay, so I would say I'm not surprised at all that he was allowed to be let out on bond. So first, this is a 17-year-old child. That's the way I look at it. He's a 17-year-old child. He doesn't have any criminal history at all whatsoever. And this.
See, that's a problem. Sometimes people don't have a criminal history. He is only 17, but his criminal history now is that of stabbing and taking the life of Austin Metcalf. Austin Metcalf, guys, we're talking about Austin Metcalf. Hashtag justice for Austin Metcalf, because Karmelo Anthony and his family seem to be washing out the fact that there's a victim in this case, and the victim is not not Karmelo Anthony. And I feel like he's making himself, or they're making a campaign and they're making him as a victim of circumstances, a victim of color. Like it's a black and white thing.
Particular case, he's saying that he felt threatened, his life felt threatened, and that's the reason why he decided to defend himself in this way. So that's his argument. When a judge makes a determination of how to lower a bond, they take into consideration the same things they take into consideration in every case. So when we have a bond hearing, what is the offense? Murder. Okay, we're at the highest level there. Then, does the person have any criminal history? No. Is the person a flight risk? Does he have the resources, means to go to Mexico or go to Dubai, right, and never come back? And does it come back for the actual trial setting? Does the family have the means in order to pay what the original bond amount?
Oh, they're going to, guys. And I thank you, Tiff, for sending that. They did a cheap kind of website, justice for Karmelo Anthony.org. I don't even, that's ridiculous. They're calling Karmelo the hero, guys. They're saying that he was a hero on 2021. Did you guys see that? There was a child that drowned, and without hesitation, he selflessly rescued him. I think this is just a cheap tactic to get him out of things. And I saw yours also, Carrie. Yeah, it's not the same Karmelo Anthony. I get it. All right. Thank you so much, Don Grandma 3. You're helping 5 more people become a guilty of crime member and get closer to getting to win a donation and a Foxy Bucks. Justice for Austin. Absolutely. And we're almost to the jumpsuit Pablo thing, guys. It's not very long, but I do want you guys to see the whole everything about this case, hopefully in one episode for now.
The original bond amount in this case was $1 million. The family has stated and testified that they did not have the resources in order to do that. And then the last
oh my goodness,
there
is
he a threat to himself or
Thank
to
you,
others?
Lisa.
And in this situation, this is an isolated matter. He's not going around saying, hey, I'm going to shoot up multiple people, or I have a history of doing something like that to where I'm a violent person to society.
Shout out to you. Thank you.
Situation, it's isolated. So he doesn't pose a threat to himself or to others. So the court allowed for the bond to be reduced down, and then the person can post that bond if he has the resources.
And I was wondering about that because I kept seeing him out. I hadn't looked into the case just yet. And good to see you, Sadie's mama. I hope you have a better weekend. Lisa H, thank you so much for the £9.99. Keep doing, beat your doing, Jay. Thank you. I appreciate you. All right. Love you guys, everybody. I'm so glad you're here today with me. Man, this is, I don't know. This case is rough.
To do, which he was able to, but he still had to have an ankle monitor. So
Banana
he can't leave his home.
He has an ankle monitor, but
permission from Judge Tucker. So he is at his house. This is just allows him to not be in jail
at his house, living it up with the money
with his family until the case is resolved.
What about Austin?
The bond hearing confused with the actual trial setting. The only purpose of a bond hearing is, do you need to stay in jail, isolated here until the case is resolved, or can you go home and stay there until the case is resolved?
I think that's
In
crazy.
the district attorney's announcement of the grand jury indictment, there was a line that talked about in Texas, if you're convicted of first-degree murder, you could spend 99 years in prison, or you could spend 5 years in prison. And that 5-year mark, that felt very low for first-degree murder, just as an outsider kind of looking at it, because when you think of someone who's convicted of that crime.
You guys, I hate to tell you this, but I do have a feeling that, and it sucks, I have a feeling that they're going to go light on him, and I feel like it's going to be political. It's going to be them going light because of politics and racism and all that. They're not going to want to stir the pot, and there's going to be something bad happening here. And Nanaska says, does anyone have a Starlink? I want to homicide my internet every day. I thought you were asking me a question, Nanaska. I do not, and my internet sucks too. Sherlock Homegirl, thank you. I'm fairly new to this too, so you're right along with us. Go back and rewatch Crew.
They're never going to get out of prison ever again. Who would ultimately, and we have a long way to go, but if this ends in a guilty verdict, who decides whether it is 5 years or 90 years?
That depends on if the defense counsel goes to the judge or to the jury for punishment. So if they decide to go to the judge, then Judge Tucker or whoever is the appointed judge would make that determination. And they use a series of factors to make that determination. Has the person, been in type of anger management counseling? Have they been doing any type of mitigating circumstances? They would take into account any criminal history, which he doesn't have any. They would take into account the testimony of.
All right, so we know all this. I think I'm gonna
jury
just.
in Collin County, where probably everybody has.
All right, I'm gonna make my own assumptions about this, guys. We've already talked a lot about this. I'm gonna stop. I want to show you real quick the justice for Karmelo. This is ridiculous. This is what tells me that I did the right thing by covering this case. If you go to justiceforkarmelo.org, they put up this half-ass. I almost called it a song because Carrie's over there saying the song. Justice for Karmelo. Join us in our mission to create awareness and stand for justice. What are they talking about? So they go to talk about Karmelo, 17 years old, born in Baton Rouge, 4.0, the kind of kid every parent hopes for. And then they go in to talk about a child drowning. But what about, I'm not even going to read this whole thing, guys. There's the t-shirt with the shirts on it, or the shirts with his face on it. I mean, this, to me, this makes my stomach turn. Justice for what? Justice for Karmelo Anthony? That's what makes me mad. And thank you, Tiff, for sending that. All right. Debbie says, I don't know, Jay. Karmelo has shown no kind of remorse for his actions. There are a lot of mad people down there who will throw a shoe if the judge doesn't do the right thing. But look at what we're looking at. And why are they raising $1.4 million for this guy that took Austin's life? I just can't fathom that. Again, take away color, because on my channel, I don't care what color you are. We don't care what color Karmelo is. We don't care what color Austin is. We're just looking at the facts with our shades on. All right. We got our blinders on, and we don't care what color you are here. We don't care what preference you have. We don't care what you identify as. We care what you did and what it says you did. And I just, okay, I'm not going to share this one anymore. It bothers me. The truth that they say it bothers me. The shop bothers. I can't believe that they would have, for what? All right, I'm going to get off this. I'm going to feel a little bit more vindicated by this next jumpsuit Pablo video, which is obviously our next and last before we give away a Foxy box. All right, so let's get a little bit of a laugh out of Karmelo Anthony declares war on white prison gangs. It's not funny, but the way Jumpsuit presents is funny. All right, so buckle up, stay here, hit that like button.
Anthony has just publicly announced he has lost the one thing that had any chance of saving him from harm in prison. Amongst the many threats he has faced, including the Aryan gangs who have confirmed they do have him in his crosshairs, and then the black race-based gang, the Insane Vice Lords, who have also had him in their crosshairs for falsely claiming to be a part of their gang, a big no-no in gang culture and prison culture, and more. His only chance at avoiding these dangers has just been ripped away from him. By who? His own family. I'll explain. Let's get started.
All right, let's get past this. This is always a good way to end a members only chat. You guys, we've done 2 of those this month. I want you to know I've also put out members only posts on my channel. So I'm not going to show everybody what I show you guys, because you know how people do. So I just want you to know, and I hope that you feel like being a member of Guilty of Crime gives you some kind of, perks. All right. So this is Jumpsuit Pablo, and it's Karmelo Anthony declares war on white prison gangs. Ex-con explains. We're doing Karmelo Anthony today and justice for Austin Metcalf. All right. So again, I hope you guys like the membership and you realize and you feel like you're getting your $2.99 a month and you're supporting the channel. And I wanted to say, Melissa, I am so proud of you for how hard you've worked this last year to get a home and continue to stay in the positive light. Okay. So thank you. Thank you. I'm proud of you, girl. All right, let's finish this up. I know you guys have other things to do on a Friday night.
Have now claimed that Karmelo Anthony is indigent. Indigent.
What?
That brings me back. When I was doing 10 years in prison, indigent was one of the worst insults you could hear. Other than, the obvious cuss words and just,
Look at Pablo.
things no man wants to be called. But man, you know how, in the streets, in the street life, it's like, oh, you're broke. You're a broke boy. You don't got no money. Get your bands up. You're broke. Indigent was how you say that in prison, because when you had no money on your canteen account and you went to go on the phone and you can check your canteen account, it would say your funds are indigent. That means you have no money. He's claiming to be indigent. How embarrassing. You raised what, $600,000 for what? The sole purpose. Listen.
540,000. And I ask you guys, to look and do a little bit of research for yourself and see if GoFundMe paid them out for the $160,000 that they raised before the Give Go Send. I'm not sure about that, but that would be interesting to see if they paid back the money to the people or if they gave it to them. If not, how are they claiming indigent, guys? How is that possible? How is that even
on your Give, Send, Go?
Give, Send, Go.
For legal defense funds. Now you've hired a public defender, or as inmates refer to them, public pretenders. They pretend to care about you. They pretend like they're going to work really
but
hard
they don't
to defend you and go at your case. They're not getting paid for it. Why would they care to put all these hours and days and weeks and months? This guy's trial is not even happening until at least 2026. You think a public defender for the price of $0 is going to give he's going to do the bare minimum. And you know what? Good. I mean, how do you even win a trial going there with a public defender? That's unheard of. I want to say the S word, but I can't on YouTube. That is self-annihilation.
Oh, yeah.
What a dumb thing to do. And his parents they seriously can't give a crap about him. They can't give a crap about him because they spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on.
Yeah, does that make sense, guys, that they're going to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on a house and cars and security guards, but they're using a public defender or what he calls a public pretender? Oh my God. Janet says you don't need perks to be member. You earn your, well, thank you, Janet. I appreciate you. The group would like to set up some sort of virtual overnight slumber party. Yay. It's a race card. All right, let's keep. Okay. I think you're right. I think you're right about this.
On apparently a new house, a brand new car, SUV. They moved into a gated community.
Oh,
who knows
you're
what
welcome.
else? Probably a couple of diamond chains, maybe a grill. We don't know. But anything but legal defense, which is what it was intended for. Now they're asking for an additional $1 million for a legal lawyer.
They are.
Anyone who's stupid enough to continue donating to him, I understand you got to be pretty stupid to donate to him in the first place.
Yeah.
But if you're that stupid to where you donated for legal defense because you really believed in Karmelo, and now they spent it all up on cars, houses, money, and clothes.
And grills, baby.
Clothes and jewelry, whatever they spent it
Some
on.
bling.
Jordans.
That is crazy. Some Jordans.
Now you're going to continue sending more of your hard-earned money.
Some stunner shades.
To this guy. Idiot.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't donate.
I would imagine, hopefully, most people don't fall for it. I'm sure some will.
A lot
but
will.
Nowhere near what it's
know.
going to take for him to be able to buy his way out of harm in prison. And that's what we're talking about. His one chance of getting out of harm's way when it comes to the Aryan Brotherhood, who was already after him, and it doesn't help how racial they are. The Karmelo team is making this.
Yes.
They are making this racial because we have a new headline.
Amen, Jumpsuit Pablo. Now, I know Jumpsuit Pablo is funny and he does things that are real talk, but absolutely right. I couldn't have said that better. When those press conferences and those news conferences, it's the family doing that, guys. It's the family making it a racial war. And it sucks because they don't want to make it a racial war because, trust me, they do that. And look at what's going to happen in prison. Entitlement, Jay, always an excuse to play the race card. And you know what? They're going to regret playing the race card when he gets into prison and the Aryan gangs attack him. Just saying.
Where his team is saying they need money. They need to raise money to fight against white supremacy.
Oh,
buddy, it sounds like you just declared war.
Yes. Yes.
With the Aryan Brotherhood, who is, quite literally going to be in the same cell block as Karmelo Anthony.
Damn.
When he gets to prison. You just declared war with him?
He's going to
virally, publicly on the internet? Wow.
I wouldn't do that.
Oh my gosh. Part of me, I'm starting to think that his team secretly does, maybe even his family, because they blew through all his money. Nobody really cares about Karmelo. They're all like, yeah, we know our son's a piece of crap. He's a murderer.
Damn.
Do what you want with him. But we'll take some cash in the meantime. Thank you.
Thank you.
But our son,
house.
And they almost are like trying to make it as bad as they can for him. The Aryan Brotherhood is after him once he gets to prison. They already have their crosshairs on him. You make it more and more racially charged all over the internet. So now they even feel.
And I got to tell you guys, when the trial comes and the verdict is read, I think no matter what happens, you're going to have a circus. Exactly. You're going to have a racial circus, right? So it sucks that the family is involved because it wasn't their circumstance, but I don't know what the dad. I see people saying his dad should be arrested too. This is crazy. I'm glad I'm covering this.
More inclined to get him, and now they are. And so what is your next step? To de-escalate? No. You publicly declare war, saying you need $1 million to help fight against white supremacy.
Damn. It's very true.
You might as well be calling out the leader of the Aryan Brotherhood right now.
No.
You are quite literally leaving them no choice but to do something down, dirty, and devious to Karmelo Anthony as soon as he steps foot in that cell block.
And he knows, guys. He knows.
Wow. The decisions this family and team make just never, every new decision they make and every new step they take just blows my mind more than I thought it could be from the previous step. It's crazy. So they blew through all his money that he could have at the very least used. I mean, if you're not going to use it on legal funds, okay, because you can pay $1 million. You're not going to get out of this. As the indictment says, he got caught with a knife and brought it. He intentionally murdered.
He stabbed him once, guys.
On school grounds at a school event while he was in a designated area. Per the rules of the sporting event that he was at, he was not supposed to be at. So he was asked to leave that because the other team, Austin Metcalf, was just trying to follow the rules and policy of the sporting event. He asked him to leave. Please leave. You're breaking the rules. And he was stabbed and killed for it by a guy who brought a knife to school and whose father has gotten on TikTok live public forums and said, all but, I knew my son was going to get into an altercation. And so I brought him to the school in preparation of that altercation.
Well, listen, that's why they changed it to give, send, go, because they don't have the same stipulations where it has to be for a certain thing and it can't be this. They said in the give, go, send that it's not just for legal fees. It's to make them a safer place and to have bodyguards. So it's not necessarily, guys. They're using it for anything and everything. And a public defender.
He said that. His father said
that. Baby oil.
I'm starting to think even his own team and family aren't on his side. So they blew through all the money that was raised for his legal defense. Even if you couldn't get a good legal defense, I mean, you could spend 20 grand on a legal defense, all that other money. That's what you use to save your son. If you really care about saving your son, he's going to prison no matter what lawyer you hire. Once he gets there, that's where you need to use the money to pay for protection. Maybe if you drop enough money, I mean, money rules all. Money runs the world at the end of the day. No matter how pissed or fired up or how racially charged somebody is or how, he pretended to be a part of the insane vice lords. And so they're obligated to get him. All that with the right price. Everything's got a price. And when you raise $600,000, I guarantee you can probably meet that price. I don't think anyone in prison who's struggling and has nobody is above what can be done with that amount of money. Okay. But you blew through it all. You have taken away your son's one chance at buying his way out of extreme danger. Now you want another $1 million.
Yeah, I say buying a house, guys. I'm not being specific. A house, whatever. Renting a house, buying a house, using the money for a house, using the money for cars, using it for expensive suits is a waste of money. If you're not going to pay for a defense attorney, it doesn't matter if you're wearing a $3,000 suit. You're not going to get off. I think they're hoping to play that racial card and use the money for what they want it for, and that the racial card's going to get out of it. But what they don't understand is they're making it much worse. And you're right, Clark, there's a whole bunch of stuff in this about parents needing to teach conflict resolution. Bullies build character. We have bullies as adults, bosses, workers. You're absolutely right. We need to, but I think we need more is to have better laws, because guess what, this isn't working. It's not working. It doesn't matter what you say. It's not working. All right, Shannon, thank you. You're I wish. Thank you. All right, let's keep going.
You've hired a public defender who is not going to care or put any time and effort, really, except the bare minimum, just kind of winging it.
Yeah.
Into representing your son in this trial that your team has announced y'all cannot wait to get to. We're not taking any plea deals. We want to get to this trial. You are setting your son up to be railroaded.
They should take a plea deal,
really
guys.
Railroaded, because that's a term you use when like you get something way more than you deserve. Karmelo Anthony deserves the max. He deserves something very hefty. So really, all it is, I guess what I mean to say, you've taken away. I mean, I'm just thinking of the perspective of Carmelo's side should want to do things to help him in any way they can. They're not. They are doing the opposite. They are making things so bad for him and so hard for him to get any kind of break at all, which honestly, good. But yeah, I just don't understand the thinking.
You.
And the
Justice
why. I mean, this
we
has
know
to
why.
just be about money for them at this point, and screw my son. I don't care. Hey, cold world. But either way,
I really do think they're thinking, hey, he's never got in trouble before. We're going to play the race card. I mean, if this were my child, I would probably just want to take a plea deal, to be honest with you, because they know he did it. If you look at the indictment, if you look at the paperwork, and it's long. That's why I didn't read it today, because I wasn't in the mood to read 5 long pages by myself. But the arrest warrant, it's pretty detailed, guys. It's pretty detailed, and there's no way he's going to get off free and clear about this. So taking a plea deal, if you're not going to take a plea deal, get a good defense attorney.
His son has lost all the money that he could use to save himself from these gangs who already want him badly.
That I agree.
Two very different reasons. And if the one gang, the Aryans, if they didn't want them bad enough, now you've declared war on us. You're fighting against us. Okay, we'll show you who's going to win that once Karmelo comes to our world.
That's crazy.
And none of these other gangs who are his race are going to save him, because he's already killed all ties that could possibly be there by committing one of the ultimate sins you can do in prison in the gang culture, which is pretending to be a part of a gang that you are not a part of. That ruins everything with any gang possibly wanting to take you in, unless, every rule can be bent and broken for the right price. He can't meet that price anymore. It's been blown through for cars and houses. So now what is he going to do? They're asking for another $1 million. Let's just pretend they get that $1 million, or even a fraction of it. You think, okay, now this money, we'll use it to save you. Yeah, right.
They're going to burn through
this
it,
guy's
guys.
out for at least another year. They're going to blow through that, probably ask for another $1 million. This is a big money grab, and none of it's going to go to help Karmelo Anthony. Good, in my opinion.
Now, I got to say, at least with Karen Reed, guys, and I'm not being biased in the Karen Reed case. I've always thought Karen Reed didn't do this, or they didn't prove it properly. At least Karen Reed spent over $1 million on her defense. She used it for defense. She didn't go buy a house and buy new shoes and buy. This is crazy. I didn't realize the gravity of this case until today, and then even just right now. So don't think that I'm not going to keep covering this. I know we're almost done with this members only chat and today's topic, but I definitely have to keep covering this case so we don't forget that the victim here is Austin and not Karmelo. Unbelievable.
Yeah, but just saying. All leading to the point, Karmelo Anthony is screwed when he gets to prison. His one saving grace has been taken away by his own family. Now, I do see it has come out. There is an update that he is due in court in July.
July 18th, guys.
July.
July 18th.
So absolutely, I will be watching, eyes peeled, to see how that goes. Expect an update video, major update video on that day. But hey, anytime until then, any updates we continue to get that I have something to weigh in on about it, you can expect a video. Hope you enjoyed this one. Thanks for watching.
All right, guys.
Quick little update for you, and I'll see you next time.
All right. I'm glad that you guys all already subscribe to Jumpsuit Pablo. Of course, I do as well. I love his sense of humor to break things up. All right. So now we're going to have a winner. We're going to win. You're going to enter. You're going to win a Foxy box. And then we're going to give away in your name. We're going to donate $25 to the Save a Fox, Michaela Rains. All right. So you guys, if you're listening to this right now and you're not in chat, you've got a minute to get your membership so that you can win a Foxy box and a donation to that. If not, I'm going to go ahead and go. If you ask how you can enter into this, you just have to be here in chat, hit the like, and make a comment. That way it can pick you up into that. Thank you. I'll keep that there. Justice for Austin Metcalf. All right. Barbara, good to see you, my friend. This is a crucial case. Love the video. Thank you, Jay. You're absolutely, you guys know I want the cases that are hard. I want the cases that are controversial. I want to give victims like Austin Metcalf a name. This is not fair. I don't like this one bit. All right. We're going to go ahead and give away a Foxy box and a donation. Michaela Rains. Say her name. Michaela Rains. All right. All right. Let's get to it. All right, you guys, let's count it down. And we're off. All right. I hope that whoever wins it is also in the US, because we're not going to be able to send it out of the US. All right. Patty, are you here? And Patty, are you in the United States? I saw you, and Patty came in pretty late too. Patty came in pretty late. You hopped in late, but I'm glad you made it. I'm glad you made it. So let's see. Drum roll. We did. Where is Patty? You do have to be here, if otherwise we'll have to do another spin. I believe, right? You guys tell me. Foxy, you're giving that away. Let me know. I do not see Patty. Do I need someone? Oh, there she is. You've been here the whole time. Okay, you were just in the lurk gang. You were lurking. All right, Patty, are you in the United States? If so, you're going to want to email guiltyof prizes@gmail.com. And I want you guys to remember. Yeah, I see now. Patty's here. She's been here the whole time. She was lurking, chatting, maybe watching on TV. I don't know. But either way, you're a crime crew member, and you have been. All right. Patty's in Europe. Okay. So we won't be able to do that. I'll have to do it again. And thank you. Okay. Maybe Synth has gifts to send to. Hold on. Let me pull this and add it back. We're going to have to do it again, guys. I'm sorry about that. Okay. Synth has prizes that she sends out of the country, but it's not the Foxy box. We're going to have to do it again. Sorry, guys. I wish the shipping wasn't an arm and a leg. Literally, it's an arm and a leg. I shipped a couple of books and it was like $60. All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Now you guys are saying she's out of the country, right? All right. All right. Look at it. How did she? I must have done something wrong. That's crazy. All right. Let me look at this. Oh, look at what it went to. That's awesome. All right. Well, that's what we're donating to. And since yesterday, we got 2,000 more signatures on this, guys. That's awesome. All right. Let's do it again. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. Maybe I did not refresh it properly. I don't know. But let's do it again. Drum roll. Sorry about that. All right. One more time, guys. One more time. All right. Hold on. Load the comments and let's roll. I don't like when I'm watching something and it just stays quiet. All right, let's go again. All right, let's go. I didn't see, maybe I don't see all the messages. All right, now Sadie's mama won, but you guys have to decide that's between Sadie's mama and you guys. I know Sadie's mama has won some things and I'm happy. Okay, so let's just, if you didn't recently get a Foxy box, Sadie's mama, then you won. All right. So what we're going to give you, when I say we, Foxy and I are going to give you is a Foxy box and a $25 donation towards, I can't play the song at the same time is the problem, Carrie. It doesn't let me do that. I'd have to load it. But all right, there you go. Where did everybody go? I don't see anybody chatting. guiltyofprizes@gmail.com. Sadie's mama, I guess. I know you've been down all week and you lost Sadie. I know that. So I'm glad that you won this. guiltyofprizes@gmail.com. All right. I guess there we go. I don't know if you won a Foxy box before, but everyone's not chatting anymore. So awesome. We made Sadie's mama's night, and that's what I want to make every day for you, Sadie's mama. You know how much I care about you, and we all do. You've been here since day one when nobody else was watching or listening. You were here, and I commend you for that with all the troubles that you have and the things that you go to. So thank you. There's 111 people in chat. That's perfect to say a prayer for Austin Metcalf and his family, that he gets the justice he deserves. All right. I love you guys. Thank you guys. Another great members only chat. And we'll keep doing that again, guys. We'll do it again and do it again and make sure that you guys, yes, Melissa, you are day one. And that's why you got a Crime of Guilty hoodie. Just a little joke. You got an exclusive Crime of Guilty hoodie. All right. It still keeps you warm. And yes, we love Sadie's mama. All right. And Patty, we love you too. We'll see if Synth can send you something just to perk it up. All right. All right. I love you guys. Have a wonderful weekend. I'm out. I'm going to go hang out with the fam. All right, guys. See you. I'll leave that up.
Guilty of crime.
I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of crime.
Are you guilty?